Outer Wilds is a masterpiece that came out 6 years ago, and since release, its story and gameplay hasn't changed. But you have. You've grown older, matured, possibly had kids, got married, maybe even beat an addiction or illness. The lessons you have learned easily translate into Outer Wilds, shifting the experience of this beautiful game as time goes on. Are you the same person you were years ago? And does playing this game now even make sense? Let me tell you my thoughts. I didn't really get Outer Wilds until I was actively approaching the end of it when there it was. I died. That death was the beginning of me understanding what Outer Wilds is preaching the entire game. Everything has to come to an inevitable end, so cherish it all. Then following dying right before the ending, I realized my second learning point. Silence isn't inherently lonely. But when you don't get to choose your silence, it's devastating. Which brought me to what I believe Outer Wilds is truly about: connections. Outer Wilds is revered as an amazing game that can only be played once.
It's rare to have a game you can only play once.
It's a truly once-in-a-lifetime experience.
One of those games that you can only play it once.
And honestly, there are sentiments with only playing it once that I do agree with, but this game hits far too many topics to not be applicable and useful at many different points in life. If I had played this game when it was released almost 7 years ago, it wouldn't have been nearly as impactful as it was just this past week. 5 years ago, I lost an important family member. 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with an untreatable genetic disability. 2 years ago, I got married. And 17 months ago, my son was born. 2 months ago, I finally decided getting alcoholism under control. And last week, I relapsed. Every single one of these things impacted my thoughts on this ensemble and made this game so much more moving today than it would have been 7 years ago. Much like in the loops of Outer Wilds, you're never the same person going through the same experiences like it's Groundhog Day. You're learning, evolving, gaining new life experiences to take on to the next day. Outer Wilds isn't a game to experience once and carry with you in memory. It's a companion, a masterpiece to reflect on at different moments in life. It's not just a one and done. So please do yourself a favor and replay Outer Wilds. Jump in blind without walkthroughs and see what the game wants to show you. What did Outer Wilds show me in my recent playthrough? Let me tell you. Outer Wilds is experienced in a loop of learning new things and exploring the galaxy until the sun goes supernova, killing you and everybody you know. But then you wake up and play the last 22 minutes again, carrying the knowledge you gained from the previous day. Regardless of what you do, you will die and then wake up. Now, there are hundreds of tangents I could go on about your own morality and facing death, but that's not really what stuck with me. What stuck with me was when I actually died and the stillness that follows. There wasn't another breath of fresh air, movement, or consistency. There was nothing, just credits and a return to the title screen, leaving my mind with questions that garnered answers. Why did it have to be when I was so close? Why couldn't it wait? I wasn't out of time. Why didn't I do that differently? Why was it during COVID so I couldn't be in the room? I guess she was immunocompromised, but why did it happen in one night? Why wasn't the casket open? Why did I wipe my phone and lose that voicemail? There's a problem with these questions though. They're rhetorical. Questions that you know the answer to, and they still garner answers, but you'll never receive them from the silence of a title screen. This is what I meant when I said in the intro that silence isn't inherently lonely, but when you don't get to choose your silence, it's devastating. The sudden inability to hear the rumble from the ship thrusters, the inability to hear other explorers through the scanner, the inability to hear a voicemail. Having the option of communion ripped from you is crushing. And the ending of the game is insane. The world is this way, that way, up and down, and then suddenly a still moment. You think that, finally I'll get to see Gabbro chilling out in his hammock again. But then all you can see is your own reflection. You spend the entire playthrough of Outer Wilds exploring, reading communications from an ancient race, and yet at the end, all you are left with is a reflection of yourself, and all you want to do is communicate more. I felt crushed, and I asked the earlier rhetorical questions not because I feared what was and is to come, but because I craved more of what I just had. I didn't want to accept the answers to my rhetorical questions. I wanted to keep hearing the instruments play while drifting in space. I wanted to keep reading conversations the Nomai had. Not communicating with friends or family for hours or a day isn't lonely, but immediately losing the option to is devastating. This is a point about Outer Wilds that has been exemplified in video essays and retrospectives alike. It's about living in the moment and making the most of the time that you have. But what I want to explore is Outer Wilds is about a lot of things, but we're neglecting to mention that Outer Wilds is also about progression. In Outer Wilds is ingrained in connections and communications. You can communicate to me by liking and subscribing. Anywho, you learn where to go from your fellow explorers. You learn about the extinct yet sociable Nomai race through their communication to each other. At one point in Outer Wilds, you get the opportunity to actually talk to a Nomai. What the fuck? Named Solanum, that was spared thanks to physics and quantum entanglement. You get to communicate in rudimentary methods where you can ask Solanum, you and me, to which Solanum replies, we do not have much connection, you and I. Still, this encounter feels special. I hope you won't mind if I think of you as friend. Oh. At the end of Outer Wilds, if you found Solanum, she will be at a campfire with you. After you and your fellow explorers enjoy one last song, talking to Solanum, she says, I believe we've reached the end of our journey. All that remains is to collapse the innumerable possibilities before us. Are you ready to learn what comes next? Asking if you're ready for your own death. Responding yes to this question, she says, I admire your curiosity, friend. Let's find out together. Outer Wilds slammed you into the involuntary silence, heading towards death, and then embraces you, facing death with those who do call you friend. And yes, Outer Wilds is about curiosity, wonder, morality, and of course memento mori, but without a vessel or some form of packaging, none of these things could easily be explored. The vessel or package being connection and communion around a campfire. Mirroring this into real life, you can explore your life as you wish, remembering that you must face death and be comfortable that you don't know when your time will come. However, what I think Outer Wilds is telling us is, you can acknowledge death daily and face your challenges alone, but having someone you care for close or even in proximity makes it all easier. Deeper in this message, Outer Wilds is telling us to cherish those close and those connections because you don't know when someone's silence will be involuntary. I can't thank y'all enough for watching the video today. If you enjoyed it at all, down below is like and subscribe. We love playing games around here, so if you're the same, you're always welcome. If you decide to replay Outer Wilds, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. Tell me some stories you have around it. Tell me how it made you feel during your playthroughs. I would really appreciate all that. As customary, we played a new game on the channel, so we've got to rank it, and genuinely, this is short and simple. It goes without saying, Outer Wilds, perfect game. I was narrating the script and I cried thinking about this game and things that are brought about. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Can't recommend it enough. If you're still here, I hope to see you again. Do me a favor, check out one of these other videos of mine. That would help me out more than any other YouTube metric. Thanks, bye.